friends, and welcome to Ina Knits. My name is Ina. I am a Norwegian knitter, and I have this little YouTube channel where I chat with you about my knitting and my yarn and my knitting plans. And occasionally I share some other snippets from my everyday life here in Norway. So a warm welcome, I hope you enjoy, and let's get right into the good stuff, shall we? I have 3 announcements to start with today. The first one is that this episode, which would be episode 47, will also be in Norwegian. So I have made a separate episode in Norwegian. I have thought about that for quite some time, and I really wanted to test it out. So don't worry, this episode will be in English, but I will also post the same episode speaking Norwegian. So if you are interested in the Norwegian version of the episode, I will leave a link in the description box below here on YouTube, and you can follow that link and go to the Norwegian episode. It might not be a reoccurring thing that I will post both in Norwegian and in English, but I really wanted to try it this time, and who knows, if there's interest, then I might repeat 2 versions of each episode, so we shall see. The other thing I really wanted to announce is that today is September 30th, meaning that tomorrow is October 1st. And I have done something called Socktober in the past, and I'm really eager to start another Socktober, meaning it's October and I will focus on socks. So I'm planning to post every day on my Instagram channel, which will be ina.knits. So if you're interested in my Socktober, it will mainly be on my Instagram channel with new posts or reels and stories every day, showing my sock progress, new cast-ons, socks in progress, and finished socks. So I have several on my needles already, and I am planning to cast on more as we progress into October. And if anybody else is interested in Socktober at all, please join in. That's just super fun. If the more the merrier. And I am going to hashtag all of my posts there with Ina Knits Socktober. So yeah, please feel free to use the same hashtag if you are interested in that. The third thing that I wanted to highlight before I start my knitting chat is that I'm happy to announce that I will repeat the 1 month of hygge this year. The past 2 years have been without 1 month of hygge, but previously I have dedicated the month of November to focus on the simple, cozy, lovely things, like all of the coziness that's within the term hygge. Hygge is a Scandinavian word, and it means everything. It's more like an atmosphere and something that you embrace. It's very connected to the small, wonderful things in our everyday life that we can surround us with to create this atmosphere of coziness and being content with the smaller things in life that we often take for granted. So yeah, I will post one hygge vlog every week throughout November and show you how I use hygge in my everyday life. So stay tuned for that. And I have gotten so many lovely comments on the hygge concept previously, and many of you have been requesting another round of hygge vlogs in November, so I'm very happy to be back with that this year. Yes, shall we talk knitting? I have one finished object today and a lot of things on my needles. The first finished object, or the only finished object, is my lovely pair of stripy socks. These make me so happy. Look at those lovely stripes. I got two, of course. And these socks are knit as a tube, like you see here. I have knitted top down, and then I made an afterthought heel. And I haven't done an afterthought heel in a long time. But it is a really genius way. It looks funny, doesn't it? But it is a genius way of knitting a heel, in my opinion. So you might can tell that the toe and the heel is knitted the exact same way. So I do a decrease on both sides every other row, and I do a Kitchener stitch to close the toe and the heel. And I'm very happy about how the colors matched up on the heel. As for this one, yeah, there's a tiny hole there, but I don't mind. I think they look great. So yeah, these are of course from the same ball of yarn, but I started the sock on a different color for sock number 2, and I also did the opposite coloring on the heel to make it a little bit more, you know, they match but they don't, they're only related. I love these. And here is the rest of the yarn. This is a Vesper sock yarn, and it is from Knitterly Things. I don't think I mentioned that last time. And the colorway is some summertime. So these were very fun to knit. I have brought them with me in my handbag on many occasions, knitting some rows as I was waiting on an appointment or through a lunch break. And yeah, these stripy socks basically knit themselves. And here is the other sock, just to show you how it looks with the afterthought heel. I think it looks really neat. And yeah, I knitted these using 2.25 millimeter needles on long circular needles using magic loop, as I do with many or most of my socks when I use fingering weight yarn. So yay, yay, yay. Very happy with those. I also have a nearly finished object, which would be this. This is a finished object, but it's only the first sock. And this is made out of a sock blank from Martin's Lab. And it is really beautiful. I just love how, you know, it's a sort of a pattern, but it's also very random, depending on how the colors of the pattern on the sock blank strikes. Yeah, so I can almost not describe how fun I think it is to knit from a sock blank like this. It's absolutely amazing. And this is the tiny little cloth that's left from the rather long sock blank I started off with. And here is sock number 2. It's a kind of brighter pink on sock number 2 than sock number 1, which is a little bit paler, I guess. Yeah, but you can definitely see that they belong together. And that is the point, I think. And oh, sometimes you get these small splashes of color. So this is some greens and a little bit of yellow. And yeah, it's just so fun and really amusing to knit with. I love them. And this is my small progress keeper from Aune Design. It's not sponsored. I have paid for it myself, but I just love them with those. It's almost an earring clip, but it's perfect to attach to my knitting. And here is the knitting with Chia Goose 2.25 millimeter needles. And yeah, so almost done with sock number 2. I guess these will be my first finished project in Socktober. Tomorrow. Yeah. Right. Oh, I totally forgot to tell you what I'm wearing. If you have been watching before, you might recognize my arboreal sweater. This is a beautiful round yoke pattern from Jennifer Steingass. In this like burgundy, lovely color. It's a hand-dyed DK weight yarn. Was it from Skein Queen? Oh, I don't remember. I bought it several years ago. And yeah, I wore this sweater a lot, and it's one of my favorites. And Jennifer Steingass, she has so many wonderful patterns. Many of them are based upon this rounded yoke, really beautiful pattern, quite similar to this. So I really should knit myself another one. I think the fit of this sweater is lovely as well. Yes, I have one more small, nearly finished object to show you. It's so small that it is almost like cheating, I think, but I will show you anyway. I have knitted tiny pumpkin. Yes, I've used a worsted weight pure wool yarn from my stash, and I have to do the stem on the pumpkin as well, and I think that I will knit some more and use as a table display for when we are approaching Halloween. Sorry, I got a little bit distracted there. Just received a phone call. Before I continue showing the socks that are on my needles, I wanted to show you a new cast on that I have made some progress on since we last spoke. You know, I really wanted to make myself a Christmas related or Christmas themed sweater, and I've been thinking about that for several years actually, but I really never saw a pattern that I enjoyed. I have found a pattern that's it is for free on the Sannes Garns web page, and I believe that the pattern can be found both in Norwegian and English and maybe German, if I'm not mistaken. And the sweater looks like this. And I think it's kind of cute, but the problem is that it is knitted bottom up, and because it's a all patterned sweater, I'm a bit concerned that I will maybe not meet gauge all the way through. So for me, it makes way more sense to knit it top down so that I can try it on when I think that I'm done with the increases, the raglan increases, and check whether I need to keep on knitting a little bit before I can divide for sleeves and body, and also to make sure that the size is correct and the length of the sweater itself. I just find that I have way more control over that when I knit top down. So I figured that I would just reverse the pattern, but I quickly met problems. I started on the collar on the top here, and that was easy. But then I discovered, you know, I didn't read the whole pattern before I started to reverse it and figuring things out. So I came to where the collar ended, and then I discovered that unfortunately it was a rather intricate way of decreasing here around the neckband or the neck collar with, you know, the holiday themed pattern within that decrease section. So I kind of just gave up on doing exactly what the pattern said. So instead, I did some short rows in the back, and I kind of just started off with a pattern that I just figured out on my own. So here it is so far. And if you remember how the other sweater looked like, there were no hearts on the top. So that's something that I found in, I got some inspiration in this book, the Arne and Carlos julekuler or Christmas, is it Christmas balls in English? I do not remember, but you know, the bulbs. So I did find quite some inspiration there, and I will continue. I've decided just to wing it, basically. I started off with the hearts, and here you can see where I did some short rows in the neck part, and then I just started the pattern. And this section of the pattern with the flowers is from the actual julegenser or Christmas sweater pattern from Sandnes. It wasn't fun to do because you have to work with 3 colors for several of the rows. But I did it because I think it was kind of cute. And now I have just started doing some snow crystals, and I will do them for a section like that, I believe. And I'm thinking about doing some Christmas trees under the snow crystals. And then I maybe will be ready for dividing for sleeves and body. So I think it turns out quite whimsical and fun, actually. And the color is, it's a 1x1 rib, and I just knitted to double length and flipped it over, and I knit the start, the cast on edge into the pattern before I started the sweater itself. And it's a kind of a classic raglan. I'm just increasing instead of decreasing, which I would do if I knitted bottom up. Kind of cute, I think. I am using mainly finer from Rauma. This is old finer that's been in my stash for a long time. And if I run out of this off-white finer, I have this yarn. It's not exactly the same like hue or lightness of the off-white, but I don't care. I think it will work. This is Ullcentrum. Can you see that? Ullcentrum from Öland. It's a Swedish 100% wool. And it's basically the same thickness and gives the same yardage as finer. This is a 2-ply. No, yes, I think it's 2-ply. Which has also been in my stash for a long time. And I have a full basket here. Ooh, with the knitting. I have finer. I have, this is actually old deep stash. It's Shetland soft It's the equivalent to Holst Super Soft. It's almost the same color. So that was the color that I used for the flower. Oh, excuse me, the flowers. And I have some yellow, and I have several more. And I will just use whatever colors I feel like and that I feel fit within this sweater. So that is my plan. I have some more socks to show you now. First of all, I totally forgot to show you this in my last episode, but here it is. Isn't this wonderful? This is made out of yarn that I have dyed myself. I really like it. It is sock number 1, and here is the yarn. I have another hank of it right here. And here is sock number 2. We just started working the heel, as you see. I'm really thrilled to see how evenly spread out the colors are. It's kind of fun. There are some speckles here and there, and yeah, those are so nice colors to work with. I am using an Advent Mini for the heels. This was from Arctic Knitting or Arctic Yarns. It's a little sparkly blue, icy blue color. And then I'm using this one for the toes, which is a Tweedy Todd. It's a really gorgeous green. And this blue is quite similar to the blue that's within this sock yarn, and I actually have some flexes of the lovely bright green in here too, so I think this color fits well as well. So yeah, I'm very excited to work with my own hand-dyed yarn. So I have had some dyeing experiments here at home, and I just love it. It's absolutely amazing to dye up yarn, and I have never done that before, so it's very new to me, but yeah, I love it. So I have shown you before the colors that I dyed up for the first experiments, which would be these ones. So this is the one that I just showed you. I also dyed a couple of this blue with some brown, orange, and this one. And that was the first dyeing experiment. And then after that, I dyed this one. I dyed this one. And this one, and this one, and this one. Yes. I love it. It is so much fun. Oops. This is superwash merino wool. I think it's an 80-20, I believe it is. And in addition, I did some dyeing on wool. So this is 100% untreated wool. You know, it picks up color in a whole different way. So these two are dyed together the exact same time with the exact same technique. And then I dyed these two together. And then I dyed these two together. So you can see this is way more defined on the spots and the flexes and speckles than this is. Now I have to take a break from dyeing because I ran out of yarn bases to dye on. But we will see, maybe I will pick it up later again. I have started working on a Christmas sock for my Christmas sock collection, and I showed you this sock in my last episode and I don't recall how far I gotten. I might not have worked very much on this since last time, but I will show you anyway. So here we are. This is a red. So this is a red pattern scroll, and cream one with some flexes of brown and red is from Bergeret de France. And then we have a Regia, a season color that I just have a small nugget left of. Here it is. So I'm just trying to combine different kinds of holiday-ish yarns together to make a sort of a candy cane sock with some Christmas tree colors. Can you see that my nails are actually matching? Wow, that was not planned. Yes, so that is only the first sock. So I have to complete that and do the second one. Then I also have casted on for another pair of socks. I have been watching these two beauties together in my yarn stash, and I think they go so well together. So they have been living next to each other for some weeks and just waiting to be casted on and to be made into socks. This is Crazy Sauber Ball. I have made socks out of it before. I weighed it and I have about 50 grams left. So this is color Route 66. The color code is 2311. And my thought is, if I pair it together with another yarn and do the heels, the cuff, heels and the toes in a contrast, then the 50 gram will be enough basically for a pair of socks. So this is a Kit Couture merino, but it's basically just Filcolana Arvetta. It's made in the Filcolana factory in Denmark, and the color is 352. Yeah. So it's a 80% merino wool and 20% nylon. So yeah, I have just barely started the sock. I casted this on right after I finished the stripy Vespa sock yarn socks. So here is it's a little start of a cuff. And then I will do the main part in the Crazy Salvo ball. I can't wait. I think these will be fabulous autumn fall socks. Right, I do have one more. Oh yes. Do you remember that this summer I tried to knit myself a pair of shorty socks and I just totally failed on the heels? I had to rip back almost an entire foot of a sock. And so I did. And yeah, this is a self-striper that I had in my stash. And it's from, oh yeah, it's the one with the name that's rather hard for me to pronounce. No, it's not. It's Biscotti Yarns. I can pronounce that. But I don't know what their colorway is. It says Bis socks and it's self-striping. And yeah, it's a merino, superwash merino and nylon, and it's a Canadian brand. Yeah. So I ripped back, it was a shorty socks. I have ripped back the foot and the heel of the shorty socks because I knit the heel way too shallow so it wouldn't stay up on my foot. And now, because we are in September, almost October, I've decided to make it into a regular sock instead. So I ripped back to the cuff, and now I have started to work the cuff a little bit longer. So yeah, these are on the needles, and I will probably work on them in between. The last thing that's on my needles, I had some lovely hand-dyed tweedy yarn. It's beautiful, and I got it as a gift through competition. I believe it was on Instagram, or maybe it was on YouTube, but several years back. And I didn't know exactly what to do with it until my dear boyfriend Christian said that he really wished for a couple of socks in brown tweedy yarn. And at first I thought I might had to purchase some yarn in order to fulfill that request, but then I suddenly discovered this beauty in my stash. And I don't think that it is enhanced with nylon or polyamide, but it is quite tightly spun, so I think it will be sturdy enough for socks. It is I think it is a BFL, but it's kind of soft. It's very soft actually. I've barely just started. And I'm so excited that I actually found a pair of ginger. Yeah, I believe it's a Knit Picks ginger, or is it Chaigu? Chaigu ginger, I believe. And they're so silky smooth to knit with. Can you see? It's not dragging or anything. They're very, very slick and super nice to work with. So there are a treat. Okay, so that's everything. Everything that's on my needles as far as I know. There might be a sock or two hiding in one of my whip bags, but yeah, I'm not too sure. So my plan now is to complete a pair of socks before I cast on a new one. And when I'm allowed to cast on a new one, I really like to cast on using this yarn, which is from Millas Mikrofargeri. It was part of a sock club that she did a few years back. Socker som rocker garnklubb. And this was the color of called October 18. So yeah, it's 5 years ago. And it's really nice. I have always thought that this yarn should be a pair of beautiful autumn socks. And so it shall. And lastly, I also have a plan to make a pair of socks out of the remaining opal yarn nuggets that I got through an advent calendar from Opal. I don't remember when, but I have saved them, and I have knitted most of nuggets into my son's blanket. You can see it kind of there in the corner. So it's a sturdy sock yarn, and it was lovely to use as mitered squares in his blanket. But I do have some leftovers. I haven't weighed the total amount that I have left, but yeah. Here you see it. Oh, I just dropped one. And I will weigh it, and I'm kind of positive that this is enough for a pair of socks. And yes, they will become fun, scrappy socks. Yes. So that is my Socktober plans, and I will keep on knitting on my Christmas sweater in between all of the socks, but I'm really excited to step into Socktober tomorrow. I'm trying to do this podcast every 2 weeks. Sometimes it works out like that, and sometimes it doesn't. But I'm on holiday in 2 weeks' time, so we're going to Italy, to Florence. Me and Christian and 4 of our kids. We're going there for about a week. We have rented an apartment in the city center, and we will just enjoy the city and the surroundings and the food and all the Italian loveliness. So we are looking very much forward to that. We are leaving in 8 days, so I believe we will have a blast. And I will be sure to bring my sock knitting with me and share a little bit about our Italian fall break. on Instagram and maybe show you some snippets here on my channel after we arrive home again. Right. And thank you so much for all of the wonderful comments on my last episode where I talked about my son and his illness and my struggles with that. Yeah, it was a tough time, I won't lie, but he's really getting better now, and I think he will be alright in the end. So all is good now, and thank you so much for all of you who send lovely comments and positive vibes and support and love my way. Thank you so much. So I hope that you will have a wonderful start of October, whether you are joining me on Socktober or not. Yeah, I love this time of the year. I love the crispiness of the air and the colors outside, and that we are, at least where I live and here on the northern hemisphere, it's lovely to lit candles in the evening and snuggle up under a blanket and do some knitting, drink some tea, and yeah, just embrace the coziness of the season. Yeah. So I wish you a wonderful start of October and happy knitting, and I hope to see you very soon again. Bye!